Hello Aces, this is Ace Combat Fan. I hope you guys have been doing well, and welcome to Tiny Combat Arena, new indie game that's coming up on Steam. We'll be doing a arena demo mission here in this video, but just on a reminder, I'll have another video for the quick battle mode. The game is still in a development. The only map available is the Sand Island Air Base. You can choose the time of the day. And you can also choose the mode, free flight, dogfight, or strike. I'll have another video on the dogfight mode, where you can set allied units and enemy units. This game is between the United States and the Soviet Union. It's more of a very accessible military combat simulator. Aircraft available, we have the Harrier. It's the only playable aircraft so far. We have the F5 and the F4, and for the Soviet Union side, we have the MiG-21, MiG-23. I'll be going on the arena demo where we have a mission that is set up, but in the game, once it's finished, there should be a mission builder. Anyway, we see some of our allied units already moving here. We got some allied aircraft. We have the Kogaza Arms Forts, then the Nazarene Army Airfield. That's where we're gonna start. And then we have the Ichering Ford base with the Murasa garrison, and further up there we have the Show Air Base. We're gonna have enemy air units and enemy ground units. On the left side we have our objectives, and on our right we have the mission summary. We have 8 pilots, which means that's how many lives that we have, so we can die up to 7 times and then still spawn one more time and continue the mission. If we die more than that, we just lose the mission and we have to start all over. We'll start with our Harrier, and let's apply full power and get going into the air. Sometimes this game, you can see we are heavy on fuel, we got a bunch of armaments. So what I do in the takeoff of the Harrier is I apply full power, and as we get close to the end of the runway, I change the angle of the nozzle to about 45 degrees just to make sure we get up in the air. Now that we're in the air, we can retract the gear. We're gonna get some more airspeed and change the nozzle back to 0 degrees and transition to the flying. You can see our radar. We have some enemy aircraft nearby. Let's engage them first so we can support our ground troops later. And he's dead. I guess our allies did end up helping. In this setup that we have 2 Sidewinders missiles. We have 2 MK-83s. There you go, that's a splash. And we have 6 MK-20s. And he is dead. With the enemies taken care of, let's go for the ground enemies as well. You can see the HUD, they got lots of information. We got our speed, throttle, we have the altitude on the altimeter, and also the radar altimeter there at the very bottom. Let's do a strafing pass here. And what we can also do, since we're flying the Harrier, is transition to hover mode. So I'm going to start by bringing the nozzle angle and increasing. That should allow us to slow down and better target the enemy, because we're going to be going slower. Flying at this speed, it's pretty easy to get a hold of the enemy. Let's increase some power so we don't fall onto the terrain. And let's change the nozzle a little bit so we have a little bit of a forward speed. Let's do an attack run on entering forward base. There are some buildings there. The enemies can also respawn from the bases, so it's important to take the bases out. There goes one bomb. There goes the other one. Switch to smaller bombs now. MK20s. Very important to keep a distance from the bombs, because if you're flying too low when you release them, you're gonna end up dying. All we want to do is open up a path for ally units and they will capture the base. Pretty much use all our ammunition except for the gun. Our allied units are entering the zone to capture the base. And what we can do is go back to base and refuel and rearm. But that would take time. So what I propose is let's use our remaining ammunition and let's die in a kamikaze attack so we can just respawn at the base. Don't do this in real life, of course. Let's see if we can take an enemy with us. Let's pick this guy. I guess he survived. If you're on the base and you're landed or at a very, very low speed, you can cycle weapons to rearm. And then we have our options here, selecting loadouts, clean dogfight, air spirit strike, anti-tank, bombs, and range. There are external fuel tanks in the game. We're going to select the bombs M. You're going to see that's 8 MK82s and 2 MK84s. Here we have our stats, fuel, and our weight. Obviously the weight and like the fuel that we have, everything will affect the handling of the plane. That's very important, especially for taking off, because you want to be able to get airborne. Then again, let's put some power in. And I'll use that same strategy where I will change the nozzle as we get to the end of the runway so we can get airborne. Just before the runway ends. Perfect. Let's transition to hovering mode. It's pretty easy to use. This game is pretty easy on the gamepad, but you can also play on keyboard and with a joystick. Though I personally prefer the gamepad. That's just what I'm used to it. Let's clear out the remaining enemy troops. That should let our allied units capture the base, and let's go for the enemy air base. We only have a little bit of ammunition left, but we make do with what we have. Let's see if we can take a nice picture, because there is a photo mode in this game. Let's see if we can get hovering close to one of the towers, and hopefully not crash. Oops, that ended up not well. Speaking of photo mode, let's take a look at what mess we got ourselves into. A huge fireball. Now that seems like an epic gamer moment. couple hits with our bombs. Let's see if we can finish the enemy base before enemy reinforcements spawn. Looks like we got enemy reinforcements. Here comes the final battle with our ground forces closing into the enemy airbase. And we captured the enemy base, which brings an end to the mission. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.